Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to do a quick video today on how I pick either a spinnerbait, chatterbait, or a swim jig uh, whenever I'm fishing. Uh, first thing I look at is the water clarity. If it's really stained, muddy water, uh, you know, foot and a half and less water clarity, I will either pick up a spinnerbait or a chatterbait. I need something in that kind of water clarity that will put off vibration and help the fish to find my bait. I can use a swim jig and give it a lot of vibration by shaking my rod tip a lot. I've caught some big fish doing that, but I seem to catch more fish either throwing the spinnerbait or the chatterbait when it's really stained and muddy water. Water temperature also plays into that. If the water's temperature is under 50 degrees, I'll be slow rolling a spinnerbait. If it's over 50 degrees, then I'll throw the spinnerbait or chatterbait in those water conditions. Once the water temperature gets up to, or the water clarity gets up more from 1.5 feet or 2 foot or more, I start looking at the fishing conditions, the water temperature. Will they want something, if it's cooler water, they'll want something a little slower. If the water temperature is above 50, you can get up a little faster. So if it's below 50 degrees, I'll still choose the spinnerbait so I can slow roll the spinnerbait. If it's over 50, then I can choose either the chatterbait or the spinnerbait. Then that's when I start looking at what kind of cover am I going to be throwing into. Is it going to be grass? Is it going to be wood? Is it going to be rocks? Is it going to be around boat docks? The thicker the cover will determine if I'm going to use a chatterbait or the spinnerbait or the swim jig. If it's really thick grass or wood cover, then I will either throw the swim jig or the chatterbait, because I can get both of those through really thick cover. I can get the spinnerbait through thick cover as well, but the problem is with thick cover, your blades will not be able to turn like they should and work, and it won't work like it should. So if it's really thick cover, like weeds, if you've got some kind of lay down or brush pile or something that's got real thick limbs, then you're probably going to be better off with either the chatterbait or the swim jig. If it's not as thick and I can get good action out of my spinnerbait, that's always going to be my first choice, is spinnerbait, because I love spinnerbait fishing. I'll try the spinnerbait through laydowns, weeds like water willow. Spinnerbait can work really well through water willow. Lay down trees, you can get a spinnerbait through there. You can work a spinnerbait around stumps. You can work a spinnerbait around overhanging trees. If the fish is really in the mood to chase, if you got some wind, in a low pressure situation where the fish is really wanting to chase, then I pick up spinnerbait. And same thing for the chatterbait. When I pick up the swim jig over the spinnerbait and the chatterbait is when there's a lot of fishing pressure and everybody else is using a spinnerbait or chatterbait, then I'll pick up a swim jig. Yeah, you know, if there's not much wind and the fish is not wanting to chase as much, you can throw that swim jig and you can just twitch it with your rod tip and reel it slow and almost make it set in one spot for a longer period of time and give the fish better time to react. Now, if you're fishing a place that's got a ton of anglers and all of them's fishing spinnerbait and chatterbait, then I'll pick up the swim jig and follow up behind them, because it's a silent presentation and they're not used to seeing that swim jig because everybody in front of you is throwing a spinnerbait and a chatterbait. And so that's when I'll pick up the swim jig for sure, and I'll catch more fish if I pick up a swim bait or a swim jig instead of the chatterbait or spinnerbait, because everybody else is throwing that. If I'm fishing in real close quarters and I'm doing more pitching, then I'll pick up a swim jig then if I'm pitching like around buckbrush and that kind of thing, or stumps and laydowns. I'll pitch the swim jig and use it, because I tend to catch more with that swim jig in a pitching situation than I do a chatterbait or pitching a spinnerbait. I've done both. I've done it all, you know, pitched a spinnerbait and swim jig or a chatterbait, but it seems like I do better with the swim jig if I'm pitching. So anyway, that's kind of a quick overview of how I decide when to pick up a spinnerbait, chatterbait, or swim jig. Sorry, that's kind of quick. Kid's is about to get in the car, so it's about to get loud. So I will get off of here. I hope you're having a blessed week. If you have any questions, leave them at the bottom and I'll answer your questions. If you have more questions on this, please leave me a question down below. Please hit like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you out on the water.